Welcome to another one of our enlightening videos. Let us discuss the impact that news media has on our health and well-being. Have you ever noticed how most news stories seem to focus on disasters, crises, and tragedies? It's almost as if the media is trying to scare us all the time. In this video, I want to talk to you about how news can poison your mind. We'll explore how news outlets thrive on bad news, how they try to get us addicted, and how avoiding the news can improve your mental well-being. The nature of news media. News organizations or businesses. Their goal is to get as many viewers, readers, and clicks as possible. And what's the best way to grab attention? Bad news. Think about it. When you hear about an earthquake, a scandal, or a war, you're more likely to pay attention. Fear and panic naturally draw us in. The media understands this very well, so they constantly bombard us with negative stories. They know that if they can get you worried or angry, you'll keep coming back for more updates. The more shocking the headlines, the more likely people are to read the story. It's not that good things aren't happening in the world, it's just that good news doesn't sell as well as bad news. Positive stories don't keep people glued to their screens, while fear does. The addiction cycle. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to get sucked into a cycle of checking the news over and over again? One negative story leads to another, and before you know it, you've spent an hour scrolling through headlines that only make you feel worse. The news creates an addictive loop. The media knows that fear is a strong emotion. They use fear to keep you hooked, knowing that each alarming update will make you feel like you need to stay informed to protect yourself. But here's the thing. Staying informed this way doesn't really help you. It just keeps you in a constant state of anxiety. It's not a coincidence that many people feel more stressed, overwhelmed, and pessimistic after spending too much time consuming news. The reality gap. How much of it never comes true? Let's talk about another trick the news uses: exaggeration. The media often paints situations in the worst possible light, making you think that disaster is inevitable. Think back to past news reports that predicted economic collapses, massive pandemics, or international conflicts that never turned out as badly as they were made to seem. Sure, some of these things are real concerns, but the media tends to blow them out of proportion. For example, how many times have we heard reports about a stock market crash or an upcoming war that never actually happened? It's not that the news is lying, but they often take small problems and make them look much bigger than they are. They do this to keep people watching, to make you feel like you can't miss out on their next update. And while the worst-case scenarios rarely come true, by the time we realize that, the media has already moved on to the next crisis. The mental toll. How news affects your well-being. Constantly consuming bad news can have serious consequences for your mental health. The more negativity you expose yourself to, the more likely you are to feel anxious, depressed, or hopeless. When all you see is disaster, it can feel like the world is falling apart, even if your personal life is going just fine. Studies have shown that people who spend a lot of time watching or reading the news are more likely to experience stress and anxiety. It can affect your sleep, your mood, and even how you interact with other people. You might start to see the world as a dangerous place where bad things are always about to happen, even though that's not really true. The benefits of avoiding the news. So, what happens when you step away from the constant stream of negativity? Many people report feeling calmer, more optimistic, and more focused on the things that actually matter in their lives. By cutting back on the news, you can create mental space for more positive experiences and thoughts. You'll start to notice the good things happening around you instead of being bogged down by distant problems that you have no control over. It doesn't mean you have to completely ignore what's happening in the world. But there's a difference between staying informed and drowning in negativity. You can choose to limit your news intake, focusing on trustworthy sources and checking in only occasionally. This way, you can stay aware of important events without letting the news dominate your thoughts. Healthier and more stimulating activities. Now, what can you do instead of spending hours consuming the news? There are so many healthier and more fulfilling activities that can boost your mental and physical well-being. Exercise. Physical activity is a great way to shift your focus from external negativity to something that improves your health. Whether it's going for a run, practicing yoga, or even taking a walk, Exercise helps reduce stress and releases endorphins, improving your mood. Reading books. Instead of reading the news, why not dive into a good book? Fiction can help you escape into different worlds, while non-fiction can expand your knowledge on subjects that interest you, without the anxiety that news often brings. You could read books about personal growth, history, or science. A good book offers much more meaningful engagement than a fleeting news story. Creative hobbies. Whether it's painting, writing, photography, or playing a musical instrument, creative outlets can bring a sense of accomplishment and relaxation. These activities allow you to express yourself, which is far more fulfilling than passively consuming information. Mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness practices help you center your thoughts and live in the moment, reducing stress and anxiety. Instead of dwelling on distant news stories, meditation allows you to focus on the present, which is where life truly happens. Spending time with loved ones. Instead of spending hours watching negative news, spend time with the people who matter most to you. Building strong relationships and having meaningful conversations can enhance your sense of connection and happiness. Learning new skills. With the time you would have spent watching or reading the news, you could learn something new. Take up a cooking class, learn a new language, or explore a new craft. Not only is this mentally stimulating, but it also helps you grow as a person. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see similar content, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I hope this encourages you to rethink how much news you let into your life.